All right, good evening. I'm John Berman in New York, in for Abby Phillip. Let's get right to what America is talking about, political war. So say liberals across the nation, as Texas orders the arrests of Democrats who fled the state in protest over Republicans moving to redraw its political map mid-decade, which is extremely rare, allowing for the possible elimination of 5 Democratic seats.
They're leaving and they've left because they're very un-Texan. Texans don't run from a fight. I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
So the state's attorney general says they will be swiftly arrested, punished, and face the full force of the law. But for Democratic governors from some of the biggest states in the country, this means the gloves are off.
All's fair in love and war. That's why I'm exploring with our leaders every option to redraw our state congressional lines as soon as possible.
All bets are off when the cult leader and, would-be dictator of the United States tells Texas to midstream change the game when they know that they're going to lose in 2026. All bets are off. Everything's got to be on the table.
This is existential. This is real life. Everything's on the line here. It's not a gross exaggeration. I feel that in my bones. We're looking at 3 or 4 different pathways as it relates to the when and the how.
All right, joining us in our 5th seat at the table, journalist and historian Garrett Graff. He's the director of cyber initiatives at the Aspen Institute Digital and the author of The Devil Reached Toward the Sky. I'm holding a copy in my hands. I can't wait to read it as soon as this show is over. Garrett, what's going on?
Do it in the trash.
It's in the trash can. What's going on in Texas? Who's doing what to whom in Texas, Garrett?
So I think that this is, in some ways, the blueprint for how democracy ends up getting lost in 2026. I have never believed that Donald Trump was going to do something like cancel the midterms. What the goal in these next couple of years is going to be is to shape in subtle ways who turns out to vote in 2026 and 2028 and change the electorate to ensure that the Republicans are able to lock in illegitimately majority power going forward.
Is that what's at stake here, Batya?
Well, first of all, gerrymandering is one of those things that everybody does. Like, the idea that Donald Trump made this up is, I think, kind of insane. I don't think you really think that. I mean,
I definitely didn't say that.
They fled to Illinois, which is one of the most, gerrymandered states in the union. I happen to love this story because I love the political theater of it all. I love that they absconded. I love that now there are arrest warrants out. I think that the American people don't care at all about this. But what's most interesting to me about this is that these new 5, potential Republican-controlled districts are all majority Hispanic. The Republicans are leaning into the victories that Trump had with Hispanic voters in 2024 and saying, hey, we're going to bet on ourselves. We're going to bet that we're going to keep these voters, and we're going to try to get them into our coalition via these districts. And it's amazing to me that the Democrats, instead of fighting for those voters, are just kind of running away and ceding the point that these Republican districts full of Hispanics are now going to go for Republicans eternally.
Bakari?
Yeah, that ain't what happened. So, I think that was a great, bastion of talking points, but that's not really what's happening. Gerrymandering, to your point, is as American as apple pie. Right. I have always just said that Democrats actually do redistricting the correct way. Republicans do it the way they do it. For a long period of time, for the past 20, 30, 40 years, you've had an unholy alliance between the Republican Party and the Congressional Black Caucus. And usually it's state Black caucus legislators who seed Black members, get as many Black members from white Republicans as they can, and white Republicans give as many as they can, and it makes these competitive districts go away. It is the most unsexy thing in the American political spectrum. That's what happens. And when that occurs, you have these districts that are 30, 40, 45, 55% African American, and you have these districts that are overwhelmingly white Republican districts, and you cannot, it's only one in a primary.
Now, nobody's drawing lines based on race and ethnicity anymore. Let's be honest. We
No,
have
that's not true.
AI.
You're not
we
being-
have
you're not being-
AI, and just let me talk for a second.
But
okay?
nothing you just said was right.
I didn't say anything because you're interrupting me. Okay, there is a law in Texas, and there's a law in most states that allows the House to physically compel people to be present for votes. And when the Democrats are running away from voting, what they're doing is running away from allowing this so-called gerrymandering to be challenged in a court of law. There is a long history of challenges
go back
in Texas.
to what you said, that it's not being
if they
long
are
back.
accusing the Republicans of drawing lines based on race or ethnicity, a court will shut this down in a second. But when you run away from voting, you are preventing this from being challenging in a court. It is that simple. It's the most anti-democratic thing that you can do.
If you believe that there is a law, please tell me, because we just had the Voting Rights Act gutted. So please tell me what law, particularly in the South, prevents this from happening. And I just want to one bit of it, like I was in the General Assembly in South Carolina when we drew these lines. And so I've actually seen these lines be drawn. And what I'm absolutely telling you is places like Tim Scott's old South Carolina 1st District, right? Where he ceded black voters to Jim Clyburn. That's exactly what he did. It made Jim Clyburn's district more African American. It made Tim Scott's district more white so that people would vote for them.
So how do you change that? Do you change it by running away and delaying the process another 30 days? No, you change it by having independent, non-elected commissioners vote on it.
But that's not what's happening. They're running away. They're literally fleeing to Illinois, which ironically is a sanctuary state. They're delaying the vote another 30 days. We've seen this happen in Texas before. It happened in 2021 when the Democrats were challenging the same type of voting laws. Should we have drive-in, voting polls and absentee ballots? They came back 30 days later. They were forced to vote, and the bill passed.
Let me. I want Mike you to jump in here, but before you get a piece of the action here, I feel like there's a little bit of a single entendre going on here, which is that everyone knows who's trying to do what here. Donald Trump wants 5 seats in Texas. He asked the Republicans to push for it, and the Republicans there basically admitted. Listen to what State Rep Harrison today said to our friend Boris Sanchez. Listen to this.
Here's what I want to support. I want to make sure that elected Republicans in the state of Texas are doing everything we can to make sure that Congress, the United States Congress, in the upcoming midterm elections, does not fall into the hands of the radical extremist Democrat
This is purely
Party,
a political move. Why not get rid of gerrymandering altogether and actually put the power in the hands of voters to make the republic more efficient?
Well, I actually think we are trying to make the maps more representative.
I mean, he basically just said he wants to do everything he can to make sure the Republicans are elected in Texas. So, as I said, a single entendre.
John, I'm Puerto Rican. When I don't know what I'm talking about, I shut up. That's why you see me be quiet and watch you guys argue for a little bit. But now I am going to talk about something that I know you're tired of talking about because you've been up since 7 a.m. I saw you this morning on my flight talking about this. You interviewed Gene Wu.
I did.
You asked him, what's the move here? What's the play here? And he said, some word salad. And then you said, that's not what I asked you. What is the move here? So to your point, Batya, there is a little bit of like a dance here where we know it's gamesmanship. So we all know that elections have consequences, and we all know that this is all a part of it. So when it happens in blue states, I don't want to hear you complaining, and it's happening in red states right now. And we can't complain, unfortunately. That's part of all of this. There's a political theater in all of this, but the biggest thing that I wanted to piggyback on what she said is that the American people that are watching this at home have no idea what the word gerrymandering means. Correct. You can look that up in Gallup polling. They don't know what these big political terms. Maybe our audience is a little bit more educated because it's 10 o'clock at night and they like watching us, and they've been watching you since 7:30. But a lot of people that are independent voters and some that are in that moderate of both lanes, they don't know what this word means. They see the theater of it. They see that Gavin Newsom's out there on the steps in Sacramento saying that he's going to do the same thing that they're doing in Texas, and they go, hey, that's the same thing. That's apples to apples.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that like half the Democrats are out here saying like the Republicans are cheating, and the other half are saying, wait a minute, we need to do it too. If you're doing it, we're going to do it too.
Adam Kinzinger, before we came on with John King at 8 o'clock, he said he was gerrymandered in his own district. That's why he lost his race. He said that, and we know he doesn't like Trump.
Garrett?
But I think part of this is the Democrats are doing it in response to the Republicans doing something that is atypical. It is totally normal to redistrict. It is something that happens based on the census, and then we sort of reapportion Congress. Everyone redraws their districts, and it's meant to be a process that occurs sort of traditionally in American politics on that once-a-decade schedule. And for the Republicans to be trying to change the rules in the middle of the decade right now
that's the curious
is the
part.
thing.
Why is it being done now?
But it's not curious.
It's not curious.
And so let me just say this. If Republicans were going to march to a sweep in 2026, would you be trying to realign districts today? The answer is no. And so, yes, the answer is if you can't win the game as it's played right now, you just rig it, right? And so that's what's happening before our eyes. And I think that is what, I get it. American public may not understand gerrymandering, right? They may not understand the word. They may not grasp how it's done every 10 years or how it's done. But what they do realize is that the economy sucks. 11 million people are getting kicked off Medicaid. The things that the competency and consistency that they had previously is not there anymore. And Republicans are losing, so now they're changing the game.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Garrett Graff, thank you so much for joining us. This is the book which I do, in fact, look forward to reading. Thank you very much.
Does it have pictures? Does it have pictures?
Oh, it's pop-up. It's a pop-up book.
That's
which makes it good for me. All right, next, Israel on the verge of a full takeover of Gaza as pressure mounts over the starvation crisis. Another special guest joins us at the table at this perilous moment. Plus, Donald Trump's mega bill is now going to be more expensive than previously thought as he begins to fire the messengers about numbers he doesn't like. We'll debate.